Lori Wallach is on the line with us, the Executive Director of Global Trade Watch, the author of The Rise and Fall of Fast Track Trade Authority, the website citizen.org/trade. And I just want to add, in my opinion, one of the smartest people in this town, Lori Wallach. It's always a pleasure and an honor to have you with us. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
TPP and TAFTA. The president is in. It's been a long weekend. The president is in China right now, and we'll see where this whole thing goes with the Southern Hemisphere Asian Free Trade Agreement, SHAFTA, also known as the TPP. What's the status of that right now?
Well, there was, of course, another deadline that's been missed to complete TPP. President Obama, as recently as the summer, said this big Asian trade summit in China now would be when they'd finally sign the deal. So for all of us who care about good jobs, safe food, and good environment, it's good news that they didn't make the deadline.
Right.
The scary news is they apparently, at a meeting of all the heads of state of the TPP countries, made some kind of set of commitments to basically just make a deal. And the thing that's very dangerous is what that means is the different important policy issues that to date have deadlocked the deal, giving the big pharmaceutical companies more rights to jack up medicine prices through longer patent monopolies, undermining our food safety, giving the foreign investors the right to go to the corporate tribunals and raid our treasury through the investor-state attack on domestic laws, the ban on buy local and buy American, all of that stuff that's still stuck. What these heads of state, Obama and his counterparts from the 12 TPP nations, basically got together and said, well, let's skip the details. We all need this deal to get done. Let's just tell our negotiators to do it. And that's when it gets super dangerous.
Yeah.
Because then, to some degree, it doesn't matter what the negotiators, the policy experts, the protesters in different countries have made as clear things that shouldn't happen. The heads of state say, bring me a deal.
Yeah.
And that's where we seem to be right now.
I was real interested after the election, the big headlines on the television networks as well as in a lot of the newspapers were, here are the areas where the president and the Republicans might find some commonality. And, of course, one was Keystone XL, but the other was TPP. Or they rarely mentioned TPP by name. They mentioned it indirectly by saying trade. And then the third was taxes. What do you think the chances are that the Republicans are going to push this through on, Christmas Eve and the president signs Fast Track Authority to set the stage for TPP?
My sense is that there probably won't be a vote on fast track in the lame duck session, largely because they don't have the votes.
Right.
And they haven't had the votes.
And Harry Reid has refused to bring these things to the floor of the Senate.
Well, they don't have the votes in the House. I mean, where the fast track fight really happens is the House. And
really?
They don't have the votes in the House. The fast track fights always come and go, win or lose, in the House of Representatives. In the Senate, unfortunately, it's typically, unless you have a great majority leader like Reid who says, I'm not bringing it up for a vote, but when there's a vote, it typically passes. The Senate is where, for instance, President Clinton's attempt to get fast track in 97 and 98 was voted down with 171 Democrats and 71 Republicans. So my instinct is they haven't had the votes, which is why they haven't had the vote. That's because Democrats, Republicans, independents alike across the country have gotten to their House members and said, under no circumstances should you delegate away, give a blank check, so that your constitutional power to protect my family against this damaging agreement is no longer available. Right. And it's worked. There's been a majority in the House saying no. So I don't see that that's going to change in the lame duck, though we may see a skirmish.
Will that change in the new session?
So then the question is what happens in January. And the real question is whether the Democratic freshman and sophomore members, many very conservative members, are going to agree with their leadership that the thing they ought to do as a great accomplishment with their new enhanced majority in the House and taking over the Senate is to give new broad authority, delegated authority, constitutional authority of Congresses to the president that the Republicans have been attacking for years as the imperial power-grabbing president. Right. So they've got a problem with their own base, because it doesn't look great to have this guy you've been saying is, a dangerous power grabber to voluntarily give him a bunch of authority. And also, there's a math issue still on the House about whether they actually can pull together the votes. And it will take a huge effort. But I think we should all be ready to hit the ground running, to talk to our new members of Congress. It doesn't matter if your new members are Republican. The core issue is whether Congress is going to preserve its constitutional authority given by the Founding Fathers over trade that's exclusive to Congress, or if Congress is going to abdicate its role and let the executive branch diplomatically legislate on all the hot-button issues: immigration, energy, climate, food safety, financial regulation, medicine prices. That's what's at stake. So even if you're a progressive and you have a now very conservative Republican member of Congress, it's worth going to see them during these couple of weeks before they actually come back in January to start the new session on January 5th, and to say, listen, we may not have a lot to agree with, but you may think the policies on climate or immigration or whatever should be different, but I bet we agree that Congress should decide those,
right?
And that those should not be locked in forever via trade agreement. So commit to me.
Yeah,
you will not give away your authority.
These are one of those. This is one of those issues that Ralph Nader wrote about in his new book Unstoppable, where he said here's 27 issues that Tea Partiers and progressives can agree on, increasingly. You're seeing this as a bipartisan opposition?
Well, it's interesting. There's going to be a fight within the Republican Party because the sort of Wall Street, K Street wing of the Republican Party, of course, is going to want to do what the Chamber of Commerce wants, which is, as a first thing to do right away in January, we're going to see this come fast. Folks need to be ready. It's no joke that you need to talk to your members of the House of Representatives between now and January. They want right away for the Congress to use its new authority, the Republicans, to give President Obama fast-track authority. And then you've got freshman and sophomore members, but also some more senior House members, Republicans, who are nervous about a primary from the right. And they've got to think about, is that really what they want to do with their majority? And already some of the really conservative websites and commentators have started to talk about what a mistake it would be to do that.
Great. Very, very interesting. We live in interesting times, Lori. It's remarkable. The Executive Director of Global Trade Watch, author of The Rise and Fall of Fast Track Trade Authority, the website citizen.org/trade, Lori Wallach. Lori, thank you so much for dropping by today.